Welcome to This Explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled you're here today because we're tackling something that is literally everywhere right now. You can't open LinkedIn or watch the news without hearing about artificial intelligence. But let's be real, there's a massive gap between hearing all those flashy buzzwords and actually getting AI to do the heavy lifting for you at your desk. Today, we're focusing on exactly that, bridging the gap between theoretical AI knowledge and practical, everyday workplace integration. If you've ever found yourself wondering how to take these cutting-edge concepts and actually use them to save time and boost your output, well, you're in the exact right place.
Okay, let's dive right into this. How do we turn AI theory into workplace reality? It's kind of the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because you can read all the textbooks, you can watch all the tutorials on algorithms and machine learning, but until you can open up your laptop on a Monday morning and use those tools to solve an actual problem, that knowledge is just sitting on a shelf gathering dust. The source material we're digging into today outlines a really structured approach for making this leap, transforming those abstract ideas into concrete, daily actions.
Which brings us to what the source calls the final module, crossing the threshold.
There's just this massive leap to be made here. On one hand, you've got your theoretical AI knowledge. The definitions, understanding token limits, neural networks, the whole shebang. It's foundational for sure, but it's passive. On the other hand, you have practical workplace application. This is active. This is you actually deploying tools to analyze a massive sales data set, or drafting those quarterly reports, or streamlining your communication workflows. The program we're examining treats this as an absolutely vital threshold you have to cross. You can't just stop at theory. You've got to push through to application if you want to see any real-world benefit. So, the crucial point the source material hits on is that participants must apply their knowledge of AI to real-world scenarios. And the key word there is real-world. We're not talking about playing around in a sandbox with theoretical data that doesn't actually matter. Actually, scratch that. It's more like we're talking about the messy, complex, high-stakes environment of your actual day job. The curriculum basically demands that learners take off the training wheels and bring their AI understanding directly into the context of their own daily professional challenges. Let's look at the interactive learning methods, what they call the triad of practice. To actually make that leap into the real world, the source details this triad of interactive methods. First up, group exercises. Because let's face it, AI integration isn't a solo endeavor. You really need to see how different minds engineer the same prompt or tackle a data bottleneck. Next, case studies. This is what grounds the learning. Instead of just guessing how AI might be used, participants study how it is being used. They analyze the specific context, the approach, and the hard results. And finally, peer feedback. Honestly, this is a real game changer. Having your colleagues review your AI applications ensures you're not just working fast, but working smart and accurately. Now, I want you to take a second and think about your own professional role right now. Like, what do you do every single day? Are you managing complex supply chains, writing marketing copy for a launch, sorting through literally endless spreadsheets of HR data? The beauty of using case studies in this module is that it grounds the AI in those specific daily tasks. It forces you to ask, how does this algorithm or this specific tool change my Tuesday afternoon? It makes the whole learning process totally relevant to you, the person sitting in the chair, and ensures the skills you develop are immediately usable the moment the module ends. Let's move to the next part and see how this builds into a complete four-step learning loop. First, you're presented with a real-world scenario. You aren't just handed a tool, you're given a specific problem to solve. Then, in step 2, you jump into a group exercise, collaborating to figure out exactly how AI can tackle that problem. In step 3, you expose your solution to peer feedback. You let others poke holes in your logic or suggest better prompts. And finally, step 4 is the ultimate goal: practical application. You take that refined, battle-tested solution and you deploy it. It's this awesome chronological journey from being a novice to a really confident applied user. This leads us directly to fostering critical thinking, which is the ultimate outcome. Now, if you take only one thing away from this explainer, let it be this: knowing which buttons to press on an AI tool is only half the battle. The other half, and honestly the much more important half, is critical thinking. Critical thinking is the objective analysis and evaluation of an issue to form a judgment. Look, AI is incredibly powerful, but it isn't perfect. It can hallucinate facts or just completely miss the critical context. It absolutely requires a human in the loop. The source text explicitly states this module is designed to reinforce that critical thinking. You have to be able to look at an AI-generated output, evaluate it objectively, spot the weird errors, and form a responsible judgment before you ever pass it off as finished work. And what's really interesting about this framework is how peer feedback serves as the ultimate reinforcement mechanism. Think about it. Why do we need peers to look at our AI work? Well, when you're the one inputting the data and writing the prompts, you get tunnel vision. You might miss a sneaky bias in the AI's output or a glaring logical error. By structurally weaving peer feedback right into the learning process, the module forces you to defend your AI applications. It solidifies those new skills because you aren't just blindly doing the work, you're explaining and justifying it to another human being. It ensures your critical thinking is actually dialed in.
So, what does this all mean? How will critical thinking shape your AI application? We've seen how this module builds a bridge from theoretical knowledge through group exercises, case studies, and peer feedback straight into real-world professional roles. But the true engine driving that entire process is your own human judgment. AI can generate the ideas, sure, but only you can critically evaluate and apply them responsibly. I want you to look at your work tomorrow and ask yourself, am I just accepting what the technology gives me, or am I truly thinking critically to make it my own? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will catch you next time.